I promise. Two words that are supposed to mean something, yet so often we find they are meaningless. Promises, in a way, are a covenant made between two or more people. Too often in this world I have found that the covenant made isn't kept. So why bring up covenant? Why such an old word? What does it actually mean? Well, covenant means an agreement between two or more people, kind of like a contract or a promise. Yet there is something deeper than just a contract when it comes to covenant. Something that speaks to our heart. The reason? Because God is in covenant with you and me. In Hosea 6, verses 6 to 7, God says this, "For I desire faithful love and not sacrifice, the knowledge of God rather than burnt offerings. But they, like Adam, have violated the covenant. There they have betrayed me." The Hebrew word used there in Hosea for faithful love is chesed. And chesed needs multiple English words to actually understand the concept. Faithful, steadfast, loyal, goodness, kindness, mercy. And in our verse here in Hosea, this idea of chesed is closely connected to covenant. Basically, covenant is relational integrity. God is a God of covenant because he is relationally faithful to all others above and before himself, and at any and all cost to himself, is the way Ty Gibson explains it. But we go one step further. Our verses in Hosea tell us what God desires of us. God desires for humans to live in unbreakable relational faithfulness as well. Instead, we live in relational dysfunction. We are non-lovers. Just look at everything that's going on right now. After George Floyd's death, there was an upswelling of support for our black and brown brothers and sisters. Yet I have been dismayed at the lack of relational faithfulness that has very quickly happened since the riots started. Instead of identifying and relating to the oppressed, we point to the riots and say, "See, we are justified in the way that we have been feeling. They are the problem. We aren't." Oh, if Jesus looked at us that way, we would be eternally lost. When we live covenantly, we live for everyone else in faithful love, meaning that the marginalized in our society are noticed because God's heart is our heart, and he notices the marginalized and the oppressed. Justice is sought for those who have been prejudiced in our society, especially our black and brown brothers and sisters. The only way to have a heart of covenant faithfulness, of relational faithfulness, is to get down on our knees and confess our sinful attitude of self-love, to confess that we are covenant breakers. My prayer each day is that Jesus would change my heart into a heart of covenant and relational faithfulness, because that is his heart, and I want his heart in my life. I hope you've been challenged this morning. I know that I have been challenged these past few days. If you want more information on how to help or learn more about social justice, just look in the description below. I'll link to some resources. If you liked what you've seen, I upload every Wednesday morning, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you'll know when the next video drops.